Views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station or
How do you talk to kids
iHeartMedia.
about terror? And with social media and television, it's everywhere, and it's unavoidable for kids.
Rusty Lozano is the founder of the Center for Biofeedback and Behavior Therapy. He's also been nationally recognized for his work with brain mapping.
He's created a gym to work out the mind. His office features an obstacle course.
Rusty Lozano is a licensed professional counselor, helping children with headaches, with anxiety, ADHD, and more.
Here's where Lozano comes in. He teaches kids how to think their pain away with something called biofeedback.
A North Texas therapist is treating patients in this unconventional way.
We have Rusty Lozano who's joining us today. He's a licensed professional counselor.
We put together an unusual treatment for teenagers who are struggling with mental issues, except he's taking this now a step further.
Rusty Lozano, a leading therapist and pediatric biofeedback therapist based in Texas at the Center for Biofeedback and Behavior Therapy. And Rusty, thanks for being with us tonight.
Rusty Lozano, a father of 4 and also a professional counselor in Texas, says it's all about being a credible resource to your children.
The Therapy Hour with Rusty Lozano. Your dedicated resource for mental health news, views, and tips you can use. Brought to you by the Center for Biofeedback and Behavior Therapy in Addison, Texas. And now, here's Rusty.
Hi, and thank you for joining us today on the Therapy Hour. It is a sunny, bright, hot summer day outside. And if you're like me, I'm sure most people are like this. You know, heat can actually have a pretty substantial effect on our patience, on the way that we feel. It can make us feel tired. And, of course, you don't want to be out there too long because you'll essentially start to not have a good time. So whether you're out doing an activity like being at the zoo or, you know, being outside with family, there's always ways to cool off. But, you know, we never really think about, you know, what effect it has on animals. But it's changing because, you know, I see on Facebook several different posts that actually have to do with animals. And one particular instance is now that, you know, animals are being left behind or dogs are in cars. People bust out windows and they rescue the dog from the heat. And so, you know, animals play a significant part of our lives. We even use animals in therapy. It's called animal-assisted therapy, and we actually bring dogs into a therapeutic certain situation, or you can even use horses. But they are our family. They're our friend. So how can we better care for our pets, especially in the summer? So here to talk to us more about this is Jacob Mireles. He's a veterinarian from Parker Animal and Bird Clinic. How you doing, Jacob?
Good. How are you?
Good, man. Thanks for joining us. You know, I'm sure you hear a lot about this heat exposure and practicality of taking care of your animals, especially like when you're going to travel or if you're at work all day. What do you do? I'm sure you see all kinds of accounts coming into your place, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, everything ranging from, I mean, the summer months are tough for, they're tough for the people, tough for the dogs, but there's always a handful every summer of, you know, people that just, and not because they mean to do it, but just for a lack of knowing or understanding, and they push the dog too hard or they get overheated or what have you, and, you know, and we get those cases. So
yeah, and I'm sure that they're pretty prevalent, and you're not the only one. And sometimes, you know, people actually go out of their way to rescue certain types of animals, certain types of dogs. We hear a lot about, you know, bulldogs and pit bulls and how they're so dangerous. I even remember reading an article about how they're banned in France or something like that because they're just considered a dangerous breed and, you know, not safe to have. So before we get started with you, Jacob, I wanted to invite Julie Fennell onto the show, and she actually has an organization called No Bully Left Behind, and she actually is doing some really hard work with being able to find homes and placement for these particular types of dogs. Julie, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. So I'm a big fan of yours, and I think I recently told you that. Because, I watch what you do, and you're consistently having different types of bulldogs and pit bulls and different breeds of bulldogs, and you rescue them. You're bringing them into your home, and then you're always asking people to help. Or you even ask people to go out and, if there's anybody in a certain part of town, whether it be like in another county or a city, and you ask them to go, is there anybody in that area that can go do a dog check? You're pretty active doing that, yes?
Yes, there's a big online network of, animal lovers and rescues that if we have someone, even out of state that wants to adopt one of our dogs or help, that we can reach out and usually get something done pretty quick.
And that's pretty helpful, I think, because, these little animals, they don't have voices. And so when people actually step up to do things to help them, that's a pretty noble cause because they're big fans. I'm a big fan. In fact, I have a rescued dog named Duncan, and I found him driving home from work one night, and I wasn't even expecting to have another dog at all. I was just driving home, and I saw something run out into the street. It looked like a small black cat. It was little at that time. And I was like, whoa. And then I saw it prance away, and then it walked back into the road. And so I pulled over real fast, and I saw this guy. And first, I was like, ooh, that's a pit bull. And he had this kind of like, mean look on his face, like he was going to bite me. And I was like, oh. And then he was really just kind of checking me out. And then he walked over, and he started like licking on me. And I put him in the truck, and he was licking me the whole way home. But really an excellent, just a wonderful dog, and my wife's not too crazy about him, but he's really cool. Tell me about No Bully Left Behind.
We're an organization. We've had our 501c3 for almost a year now, and Jennifer and I started the organization just from hooking up on Facebook. We always saw each other posting, big bully breed dogs that are the first ones to get put down in shelters because it's harder to find them homes. And we're both educators, so that's where No Bully Left Behind comes from. But we've expanded a lot in the past year, and we pull pit bulls, American bulldogs, any type of bully breed mix. We try to find foster homes, get the dog healthy, get it socialized, and then find, a loving, perfect fit home for it anywhere across the country. And recently, we've kind of found that it's pretty hard to find fosters for the breeds of dogs that we want to save. So we are opening a facility that will be open in the next few weeks in Oak Cliff so we can have a safe place to house our dogs and socialize them and train them and kind of keep them in one spot so they don't have to bounce around from foster home to foster home until they get adopted into a permanent home. And then also so we can actually kind of focus on some community outreach programs to work with the real, dog problem, which is kind of educating and helping people learn what it means to be a responsible owner.
Yeah, and I think that's a really noble cause, and people really need to know about that. I'm just thinking about my neighbor who actually rescued a dog, and they thought it was a bag on the side of the highway until they saw it lift up its head, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, that's a dog!" And it was actually laying on the side of a median, and they pulled over and they rescued it, and it was a pit bull. And real sweet, but, kind of had that judgmental look in its eye and was safe to the family, but not their chickens. Actually ate quite a few of their chickens, and so that wasn't too cool. But they ended up having to find placement for it because of that. But, I'm sure you're hearing a lot about people finding this particular type of breed all over the place.
Right. Spaying and neutering is really, really important, to animal welfare, and it just seems like the bully breeds are easy, I guess, for people to kind of backyard breed and then not really care what kind of home they go into, sell them for $25, $50, and then that person turns around and does the same thing, and then you've got an overpopulation of dogs that, need to go to a certain type of owner. Pit bulls and American bulldogs are the sweetest breed. The sweetest dog in my house is my pit bull, and the meanest is my smallest weenie dog. But like you said, with the chickens, they're a terrier. They do have a higher prey drive, and so you need to train them from the start on what's okay and what's not okay. Because when a dog is allowed to make a decision on its own, it's a dog.
Yeah, and that's a behavior, and it can actually be trained out. Now, do you guys ever run across circumstances where a dog is just not? You can't place it. It's just too aggressive, or?
Yeah, usually, we do get a lot of dog-aggressive dogs because the dogs we pull from the shelter, they've been in situations where they're just left out in the yard and not socialized and haven't been around other dogs. And, dog-aggressive dogs, we can, rehome to homes that don't have any other animals, and they do fine.
I see.
We've only come across a few, dogs that were aggressive to everyone, humans, animals, and, those dogs, it's hard to, rehabilitate just because they've had such a traumatized life before we get to them.
So if somebody is going to go to a No Bully Left Behind to find a dog, then you're sure that you guys have already done the socialization. You're sure that they're safe, and like you can educate the potential owner that this is the type of dog that you would need.
Yes, we like to ask lots of questions. What their house is like. Are there any other animals? I know we get complaints all the time because our adoption application, they say there's a lot of redundant questions on there, but it helps us, find the best fit for the adopter and for the dog because, we want to find the safest environment for our dog.
Yeah. Well, real quick, tell us how people can get a hold of you and what you have going on today. You have something pretty big.
Yes, we're really excited about it. Our location for our facility is at 1313 Ferndale in Dallas, and we are having kind of a cleanup donation party tonight from 6 to 9, and people can come by and bring any type of donation that they may have, furniture, cleaning supplies, dog kennels, dog beds, old towels, sheets.
What's a phone number for you, Julie?
A phone number for me is 580-933-6897. We also have a Facebook page. It's just No Bully Left Behind, and we would love to see anybody and everybody that would want to come out, and we're providing pizza and beer as well for our volunteers.
Pizza and beer. Can't beat that. Well, thanks so much for telling us about that. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back after these messages.
Hi, I'm Rodney Anderson, inviting you to tune into my daily radio show from 11 a.m. to noon on Talk Radio 1190 a.m. Listen in for sound financial advice, and I'll answer all your money questions and more, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. on Talk Radio 1190.
Look, you can't go a week without hearing how the Ford F-150 is way ahead, leaving every other truck choking on its gravel. And when it comes to safety, the truck that leads the pack is the high-strength military-grade aluminum alloy body Ford F-150. F-150 is the only pickup to earn both of the most important safety awards in America. First, it earned the government's highest overall safety rating, 5 stars, for all sides and all cab configurations. And now, F-150s earn the IIHS top safety pick on Super Cab and Super Crew with optional forward collision warning. The competition? Yeah, right. Just don't ask for both safety awards, because that ain't happening, pal. Let's review. F-150's the only pickup to earn both awards, once again raising the stakes for what a truck should be. This is the safest Ford F-150 ever, and every other truck is history.
Government 5-star safety ratings are part of the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's new car assessment program. Tests include driver and passenger front side and side barrier pull tests.
I'm Lex Friedman. I run my own business, so I know from experience hiring new employees can be tough. With so many job boards out there, you need to post your job on all the top job sites to find the best candidates. Now, with ZipRecruiter.com, you can post to 100-plus job sites and social networks like Facebook and Twitter, all with a single click. Screen, rate, and hire the right candidates fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/now. That's ZipRecruiter.com/now.
When I was younger, I thought that cheaper was always better. And then I learned when I was serving on city council that sometimes the low bid is the worst bid. It's better to get it right. It's better to go with quality. You know, we've had so much rain in Texas over the last year. I mean, so much rain that if you have clogged gutters, your gutters aren't functioning properly, you're probably doing damage to your foundation. You're probably doing long-term damage. Call Leaf Guard. Their gutters don't clog, and if they ever did, they'll come out and fix it. They won't have to, but they'd come out and fix it for you free.
This month, get 75% off labor and $200 Visa gift card with a qualifying purchase. Set up your free gutter inspection and estimate today and get a $25 gas card just for letting Leaf Guard show you how they can make your life easier. No purchase necessary. 214-504-2154. That's 214-504-2154. Or go to their website at guttersdallas.com.
You're listening to the Therapy Hour with Rusty Lozano, brought to you by the Center for Biofeedback and Behavior Therapy in Addison, Texas.
Hi, we're back. You're just joining us on the show. We have Jacob Mireles. He's a veterinarian for Parker Animal and Bird Clinic, and we're talking about dogs and common sense do's and don'ts and maybes for animals in the summer. Let's talk about some of the common sense things that people should kind of keep in mind. We had a pretty good discussion over the break before we started the show about different kinds of breeds and different needs and different environmental conditions that are necessary. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, all those things. So we were talking about different breeds that can, thrive, but do better than others, and ones that are going to be particularly having problems in this area. Not even this area. I mean, anywhere, kind of this time of year, really. So the guys that have thicker coats, longer hair, those guys are going to have a lot more problems than the short-haired dogs. Without the thick undercoat, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
One other thing too is considering age of pet too. I've got a really old dog, and the heat definitely affects him much more than it does the younger guy.
Right.
So just all kinds of variables.
And that's pretty practical, right? I mean, that kind of line of thinking. What I really feel bad about is Siberian Huskies, and and being in Texas, Siberian Husky in Texas. And, going back to what you were saying, I make that statement that it's pretty practical, but then people really don't think about that kind of stuff sometimes. No. They think that, a dog is tough and, they can handle it. And so then they just kind of,
Yeah, a lot of people think for some, and I don't know why, but they'll say, oh, the dog is different from us or something, but they're mammals. And so, rule of thumb is if it's hot for you and you don't want to be out there, then I would say certainly treat it the same for your pet.
Yeah.
It's basically, and that's just, honestly, that's just the best way to go about it. And that goes for heat, rain, which I don't know if we're going to have that this summer, but even the cold, all types of things. So.
Yeah. What about leaving your pet in a car?
Yeah. Don't do it. Yeah. That's, the best thing is, it's just
cracked windows. That doesn't really work.
Cracked windows not gonna make a difference. Biggest thing is you just have to just make accommodations. Don't take them with you. Leave the AC running if you absolutely have to.
In your car, yeah.
Yeah, and just again, anything that you wouldn't do with yourself. I would I'd just say kind of rule of thumb in that regard for your pet as well.
So think about it as if you what you would be comfortable with, and emulate that for your pet.
Yeah.
Same thing for going to work at leaving the AC on at home. You don't want to shut it off because there's nobody there,
right?
If you have dogs,
yeah, exactly. There's probably some cases where the situation necessitates that somebody may have to leave their pet outside for whatever reason. Then you just say, hey, I got to take the appropriate things, right? They got to have shelter, they got to have shade, fresh water, plenty of it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can get a fan or something on them too, that'd be great. But the best thing by all means, if even if it means having to say, well, he can't be loose in the house, put him in a crate.
Yeah,
he'd be happier stuck in a crate and being cool than outside being free and being hot. So
yeah, and that's not really considered cruel. Leave him in a crate.
No, not at all. It's just a lot of people perceive it that way, but it's not.
Yeah. Well, I want my sister-in-law, my stepsister, my half-sister to hear this, because when we went on vacation, she's like, it's cruel to leave him in a crate. And she let him run all over the kitchen, and, dude, they destroyed our rugs.
Okay, no.
And it was like, no, look, they're they're cool. Like they have their bed, they have their food, they have their water. I mean, you can let them out to play, but don't want full reign of the house, dude. I mean, they'll destroy everything. We have big dogs.
Yeah. No, the crate training. I mean, one of the things I see people when they bring in a young pup or even an older dog who hasn't had training, I'm like, crate training is going to be your best friend. It's going to protect your dog. It's going to protect your belongings, and you know what? You can be at work or doing whatever you got to do with that peace of mind that, hey, things are going to be good when I get back, and they like it. It's their little safe place. So
yeah. No, I do agree with that. I've seen that even with my own dog. Like he preferred to hang out in his crate. I mean, he preferred his bed. It's like his room.
Yeah, exactly.
He has this like blanket in there, and his bedding, and that's kind of what he prefers to do. What about taking walks and being outside, like going for a jog with your dog?
Especially with the heat, go early or go late.
Right.
Go early, go late. Same thing. The difference between us and them is, because we'll see people running around 3 PM and stuff, and I'll drive by and go, "Good Lord, how can they do that?"
And I've seen those people too, right? And they're drenched.
The difference is, and that's the difference, right? So the difference is that we sweat, and the dogs don't. The big difference is also we make the conscious choice to go and do that, and the dog doesn't.
He gets pulled along.
They're just going to go because they're going to do whatever they can to please you. But go early, go late. And make sure also that they're up for it, right? Like, I mean, you and I aren't going to go and try to run off 5 miles without working up to it.
How do you know?
Same for the dog.
I'm playing, man.
Same for the dog, So that kind of.
I can run 10 miles.
Right.
I'm just kidding.
When we get out of here.
Yeah, I'll prove it to you. No, I'm just kidding. But what else is like the padding on their feet? The concrete is so hot. It's like, wouldn't it burn their feet to kind of be out, running around on the sidewalk?
Yeah, a lot of times you just won't even notice it until the next morning, and it'll actually get so hot that the pads will peel off.
Oh, Jacob, man, that's terrible.
And there's nothing. I mean, there's really nothing you can do about that other than just time and try.
So it's literally like blistered and it's peeled off and it's raw.
Yeah, the pad. People come in and they'll say, hey, he's limping or what have you, and he had a big weekend running around and stuff, and look at the bottom of the pads, and the pads are just hanging off.
Oh man, that's terrible. Because you think about, a dog does everything on its feet. You don't see them laying down often unless you have like a lazy breed.
Right.
I have a Great Dane at home who thinks he's a puppy dog, like a lap dog, and she's always laying down and she falls right on you like a bag of potatoes.
Yeah.
But they're rarely kind of like just sitting around doing nothing.
You just have to, just all those things, and some of it's going to happen, and you just don't know. But just kind of learn from it, read about it. If people don't know, call your vet. Call your vet, call your friend, call your family member. I'm sure somebody's going to know or have had an experience to tell you about or something.
Yeah. No, I think that's really good to know, and people to kind of realize that when it comes to your animals, you kind of take into consideration that they're just like us. If not like a kid. And the older the pet, the more requirements and the more needs they have than like a younger pup.
Yeah. That goes. Yeah, we're living that right now in my house. I'm daily now having to help pick up one of the dogs from. He's just 13, lab, having a hard time getting up.
Oh yeah.
The heat definitely bothers him a whole lot more than the other dog, who's not that far behind. So
we had a dog like that. He had epilepsy and would mess himself. He couldn't control it. But he's my daughter's favorite dog ever, and we just kind of we helped him with it. And he's old. I actually rescued him from a funeral way out in the country, and he was just there. He had burrs all over him, and I was like, I can't leave him just here. It's hot outside. It's one of those kind of things. That's how I've gotten almost 90% of my animals is, I've found them.
Yeah.
And then we say, okay, we're going to find placement, and then we end up keeping them, right?
Yeah, that happens.
It's really sad. I have on my Facebook it's a video of a dog actually having heat stroke, have a heart attack. And this guy's performing CPR on the dog, and it's just heartbreaking because the owner is crying, saying, "Sugar, no sugar," and the guy's giving compressions and then breathing into the dog's mouth. And And the dog it did resuscitate, but man, it was scary. It's really sad to see something like that. I mean, it just kind of hits you. It hits you hard because animals are helpless, and
we get one or two every summer, and coming in, and the story is the same. We just went out for a walk this morning, and it's no one's fault, but just have to kind of just educate yourself and know, and so we're not in that situation. They're not in that situation. But.
Yeah. Hey, as far as going back to getting up and running 5 miles, we have 2 boxes of donuts sitting here next to you. So if you want to help yourself, that was from another show. They left it, but it's pretty funny to see that walked in and there's a spread there. And 2 heavy-set guys here. That's pretty hilarious. So, real quick, just a quick statement about common sense care for your pet.
Common sense care. I mean, as far as it's kind of summertime. So summer for veterinarians, and this is worked in 3 different practices, 2 different states, all different places. And so summer is the busiest time of the year. Part of the reason is because people are more active, right? Kids are out of school, vacation, all this stuff. People are more active, so the pets get dragged along. They're more active, get into more trouble. So make sure they got their vaccinations. Parvovirus around here is all year long, but particularly ramps up in the warmer months, and it's just because probably of exposure and such. So make sure you get vaccines. Parasites are going to be at higher incidence right now, especially we just had so much rain.
Yeah.
So there's water places, fleas, ticks, all that stuff.
That's a good topic. You know what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick commercial break, and let's actually go back to that.
Okay.
We'll be right back after these messages.
This is Pete the Fast Greek, host of Race Talk, the motorsports talk show, heard every Sunday live from 4 to 6 p.m. right here on Talk Radio 1190. When the races are over, we're just getting started with the latest news and results from NASCAR, NHRA, the IndyCar Series, and what's going on right here in the Dallas-Fort Worth racing scene. And remember, keep your racing on the track, not on the street.
Psst. Hey, it's me, your car. No, it's not the voice of your car phone or your GPS that gives you driving directions. I'm sorry to interrupt your tunes, but we need to talk. Take a look around. I'm not the new car I used to be. The season's dirt and mud really did a number on my carpet here. And that iced coffee you spilled, that didn't help. And with the rain showers and all, I know it's going to be a real mud bath in here. So do me a favor and get a set of WeatherTech floor liners. Got it? Now, how about a wash and detail? What do you say?
WeatherTech floor liners and cargo liners keep your vehicle's carpet safe from spills and messes. Made of the highest quality materials and laser measured, WeatherTech floor liners are specifically designed for your vehicle. And they're made in America. If it could talk, your vehicle would thank you. Order yours today at WeatherTech.com or call 1-800-CarMats. WeatherTech. Complete protection, completely American made.
Raise your hand if you think you know what identity theft is. Just kidding. This is a radio commercial. We can't tell if your hand is up. But we can tell you that if you think identity theft is when someone adds charges to your credit card, you're only partially right. Identity theft is when someone pretends to be you, to open new accounts in your name, or any number of other bad things. That's where LifeLock can help. We use proprietary technology to detect and alert you to a whole range of identity threats. And if you have a problem, our U.S.-based team of specialists will work to fix it. You'll get more protection with LifeLock than you get from free credit monitoring alone. Obviously, no one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but LifeLock is the best identity theft protection available. Join LifeLock right now and get a special 15% discount off your first year. Visit LifeLock.com and use promo code 15OFF. That's 15 off to take advantage of an incredible 15% discount off your first year. Act now. Offer ends July 3rd. Go to LifeLock.com and enter promo code 15OFF. LifeLock.
You're listening to the Therapy Hour with Rusty Lozano, brought to you by the Center for Biofeedback and Behavior Therapy in Addison, Texas.
Hi, we're back, and thank you for joining us. We're talking about animals, and particularly like dog health and the heat and your pets. We have Jacob Mireles, veterinarian from the Parker Animal and Bird Clinic. in Plano. Phone number is 972-985-0036. Jacob Mireles. Awesome guy. Real down to earth, man. And, you know, every time I talk to you, like the information that you have is just, you know, it just comes so naturally, and you know, you seem to have a lot of experience with these animals, and like your field, like you're good at your trade. Let's talk about preventative. So we started to kind of get into this at the end of the last segment. Fleas, ticks, heartworms, and you were saying let's pick up with what you were saying about parvo and how prevalent like it is right now.
Yeah, I mean parvo. So parvo. I mean, just real quick. And parvo is a virus that attacks the intestinal tract of dogs.
How does that contracted? Parvo.
So they have to be exposed. They have to orally get exposed to the virus, and the virus is typically passed either 99% of the time in the stool of an infected dog. Is how they're going to get it. So
I see.
And a lot of times, I mean, I had a case one time. A guy kind of told me, "Yeah, she was fine. I mean, she just went on somebody's yard this morning. We kept walking." Well, that's the problem, right? So now if an unvaccinated dog walks up behind there, goes and, hey, that's interesting, licks the grass, now that dog's going to get it, and then it just kind of goes from there.
Yeah.
But it's totally preventable.
You know, that's such a nasty virus, too. You know, in high school, I worked at a pet store, and it was called Pet Fairs in the Irving Mall. And they would get these puppies from breeders. And the guy would drive in from Kansas, and he brought in a batch of these dogs, and one of them had parvo, and it spread like wildfire. Like it went from that dog, because what happens is they have to clean those kennels out, and so we were kids and we didn't know, and we typically just let them run around the back, and there's a long track of hallway, and we're cleaning out the trays and spraying stuff out with bleach, and but their paws are all like they're stained, and so they're several dogs, all of them were running back and forth, and we ended up with I think like 6 cases of parvo, and I didn't really know what that was until one of the puppies actually passed away, and somebody says, "Hey, that puppy doesn't look very good in there," and I'll never forget this, Jacob. And I looked, and the puppy was laying down on its side. This is like a potential customer, and there was a lot of people that would come in and look at the puppies in the windows. And I opened the door, and it was dead. And so when I picked it up, like its head dropped, and all these people saw it, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, man!" I started like burst out just crying, and I held this dog in my hand, and we had a protocol for what to do, and I won't get too specific about what I was asked to do with it, but I stayed until almost midnight that night, giving every single dog a bath, and then like nuking the entire
it can be
container with bleach.
Devastating. I mean, that's the hard part is it's puppies 99% of the time. So puppies a lot of time until they get to a home, live in a highly concentrated area with other puppies who also don't have vaccines, and so I mean it's not uncommon just to have people come in from multiple pets from the same household, because people get multiple puppies sometimes,
or even a dog park. I mean, something simple as that.
Yeah.
I mean, what are the symptoms of parvo? What does that look like?
Typically, not wanting to eat, vomit, and diarrhea. Typically, diarrhea with blood tinged diarrhea. Doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
But I would say any. Honestly, kind of the way I kind of treated any unvaccinated dogs that has those symptoms should be checked out, period. But parvo pops up on the radar, especially, kind of any dog up to a year. And one vaccine's never enough. That's the other thing that a lot of people don't realize. The breeder says, oh, they got their vaccines, but they're only 6 weeks old. They've only gotten one, and if they got more than one of them is not valid, so you got to go to the vet. So.
Yeah, and the sooner the better, right? I mean, if you really have to be on top of that.
Yes, I mean, just for a number of things, you want to always, get any puppy or pet you first get, take it, get evaluated. Let's look at the history for vaccines and everything, and that's when you're going to make the biggest impact for the animals, is in that first year of life with those vaccines.
Well, what's crazy? My wife and I bought a dog, and we bought it at some fair. It was a while back, and then I had a vet on staff there, and we did a health check. Like when we bought the puppy, and took it right over to the vet and did this check, and came out clear. But then, like 2 weeks later, it had parvo, and so we then spent a lot of money to get this dog back on track. It's a little tiny dog. Is that uncommon?
No. I mean that because a lot of times, so what they'll come to you with it, after being exposed, and then and then they don't start having the
start
symptoms
showing the symptoms,
not right away. Yeah,
right.
And
so don't be too confident about an initial vet check, and it's clear, and then you can just kind of feel confident that he was already checked, he's fine.
Right.
He's acting a little different than
and even I'll tell people coming in for the first time with us, I'll say, hey, today we're doing our first vaccine. Everything looks good, but you also have to be aware. You use discretion. You don't want to play with the neighbor's dog or your family's dog that they're vaccinated, their history. Fine, but you don't need to be taking that dog on a walk. There's so many other things that you need to be training that dog to do that you don't need to really go out of the house too terribly much until we get a couple of vaccines under our belt.
Yeah. How many is safe? Like the 2 rounds?
Safe. Safe. You can start feeling comfortable. I would say gold standard is 3, getting on 4.
3. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's quite a bit of time.
3. So 3 of what we always say, distemper and parvo. A lot of people say 5-way or 7-way vaccines, what have you. And then rabies can only be administered by a vet, and that's usually after they're 3 months old anyway. So
right, yeah. So you want to be careful with that. Let's talk about fleas and ticks.
Fleas and ticks, prevalent here. We got the right weather for it. Humid, hot. Lots. Everywhere. There's lots of animals and everything.
Yeah.
One of probably the biggest misconceptions is a lot of people say, well, the fleas and ticks, I treat the grass. Yes, that does help, but those parasites are typically going to be, if you treat the pet, that's the best thing because they're going to stay in close proximity to the animal because that's the food source, right? So really, I would say if you got to pick one or the other, there's really great products now that treat both flea and tick orally and topically. Personally, I prefer the oral medications much more.
Really?
Just because you see them eat it, there's no question they got it.
Right. Right.
Me having little children, I don't want my dogs touching or my kids touching the wet spot on the dog's back either. So
yeah, that's true because some of that can be pretty hard hitting. Medications.
Yeah, it's safe. It's exceedingly safe, but less is better. So
yeah,
but definitely there's good stuff and that all that stuff. Go to your vet. It's over the counter. You don't really need a script for most of it, as long as you have a relationship with your veterinarian and they'll point you in the right direction.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to know because I think that there's some people that are actively like very very conscientious about their dog and they want to do everything they can and health wise and make sure they're healthy and that can really get expensive.
And it can get expensive, and that's where you just talk about different options. Not all of them are for everybody. Just in our practice, I think we carry 3 different varieties of everything. Heartworm prevention and flea and tick prevention because. Yeah, everybody's situation is different. And maybe this dog, he just will not take a pill. So, all right, well, we got something else, And,
right, yeah, so. Different options. Heartworms.
They're spread by mosquitoes. So prevalent. Texas, probably number 2 state for incidence behind Florida. When we talk about that, it's real. My kind of little spiel that I tell people in the room, is particularly if they don't know about it, I say, okay, look at it this way. Heartworms is like changing the oil on your truck, right? It's the one thing that you have to do.
Right. Out of all of them, that's the most important.
That's it. Fleas and ticks are a nuisance, and I suppose they could be fatal in unbelievably serious cases, but heartworm disease is so easy to prevent, and it's not hard to treat, but it gets expensive. There's some discomfort involved for the pet. You just don't have to go through it.
Yeah.
So for a minimal cost, honestly, I would say.
Are there symptoms of heartworms? Do you see?
Thankfully, I would say 99% of the cases we diagnose with heartworms are just incidental positive tests. People rescuing dogs, people finding dogs, transferring from one hand to the other. Hey, I just brought this dog in. Let's just get them checked out. And they test positive. But, some symptoms you'd look for, lethargy, running out of breath. Sometimes people, a light cough, that sort of thing. But those symptoms typically are going to be it's pretty advanced at those points. They have clinical signs. Best thing to do, take them in. If you haven't gotten them tested, get them tested. It's a simple blood draw. Dogs don't even care about it.
So don't have the mentality of they look fine, they're tough, and they don't need no heartworm medicine. They look okay.
Yeah.
Look, he's happy. These are things that you want to. These are preventative things, and
totally preventative. Cost is going to be much less. Heartache's going to be much less if you just prevent it. Heartworms is not something that it's funny. I mean, we hear every now and again, isn't that just something that vets came up with to make money? No, that is not something we came up with. It's real.
Yeah.
So.
And you know what? And I've seen at a veterinarian office like a jar with heart in it with heartworms, and it looks like spaghetti noodles. And dude, it like creeps me out, like how nasty that can actually be.
I mean, you think the drain doesn't clog, right, with just a bunch of the hair in there. Well, that could be the heart. So that's not going to work very efficiently. So
that's crazy. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to finish up with our fourth segment. We'll be right back after these messages.
The Jeff Crilly Show, Saturday morning at 11 on Talk Radio 1190. Join Jeff as he talks about trending topics and interviews newsmakers with the secrets to being healthy, wealthy, and wise. It's The Jeff Crilly Show, Saturday mornings from 11 to noon on Talk Radio 1190.
Look, you can't go a week without hearing how the Ford F-150 is way ahead, leaving every other truck choking on its gravel. And when it comes to safety, the truck that leads the pack is the high-strength military-grade aluminum alloy body Ford F-150. F-150 is the only pickup to earn both of the most important safety awards in America. First, it earned the government's highest overall safety rating, 5 stars, for all sides and all cab configurations. And now, F-150s earned the IIHS top safety pick on Super Cab and Super Crew with optional forward collision warning. The competition? Yeah, right. Just don't ask for both safety awards, because that ain't happening, pal. Let's review. F-150's the only pickup to earn both awards, once again raising the stakes for what a truck should be. This is the safest Ford F-150 ever, and every other truck is history.
Government 5-star safety ratings are part of the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's new car assessment program. Tests include driver and passenger front side and side barrier pull tests.
I'm Lex Friedman. I run my own business, so I know from experience hiring new employees can be tough. With so many job boards out there, you need to post your job on all the top job sites to find the best candidates. Now, with ZipRecruiter.com, you can post to 100-plus job sites and social networks like Facebook and Twitter, all with a single click. Screen, rate, and hire the right candidates fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/now. That's ZipRecruiter.com/now.
Hey, folks, it's Michael Berry, and I love real estate. Always have. I owned a real estate brokerage firm. And to me, real estate is a great investment strategy. It's a great retirement strategy. And if you want to learn more, there's a great show that comes on Monday through Friday right here called The Del Walmsley Show. It's the Del Walmsley radio show. You want to learn more about being an informed investor? You're going to love it.
Listen to the Del Walmsley Show Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. on Talk Radio 1190. You're listening to the Therapy Hour with Rusty Lozano, brought to you by the Center for Biofeedback and Behavior Therapy in Addison, Texas.
Hi, and welcome back to the show. We're talking about animal health. We've been talking a lot about dogs, and earlier on the show, in our first segment, we had Julie Fennell on. She's with No Bully Left Behind, and I just wanted to give you her information because she's having a beer and pizza party today. It's actually a cleanup party, and she needs donations for her project where she rescues bulldogs, pit bulls, and different animals. And her phone number is 580-933-6897. That's 580-933-6897. And her name is Julie Fennell. Really neat person. I'm glad we had her on. Let's get back to Jacob. And Jacob, let's talk about traveling in pet care. So some people, don't always, you can't always take your pet on vacation.
Right.
So what are some options that people actually can do?
So traveling, a lot of times, traveling with pets, probably above all, if you're going to take them, just make sure there's the proper accommodations for them, that kind of thing. Make sure they're updated on vaccines, because if not, certainly wherever you're going is going to ask to see something. Mm-hmm. Make sure that your dog is the type of dog that can do that. Some dogs, they're not going to do that. They're not going to have any kind of interest in doing whatever you're doing, and it's just probably going to be miserable for both of you guys.
Yeah.
I personally would, I personally I like leaving them behind.
Yeah.
They get a vacation. When you go on vacation, they go to a kennel. There's tons of them around, reputable kennels.
Yeah.
They get pampered and treated probably, with more fun things to do, I guess, than when you're at work all day anyway, so it's pretty awesome for them.
When you said that, I thought you said crate. And, then I had to think about it. And I said, yeah, they're going to have fun. They get to go to a crate. The kennel is like Camp Bow Wow or like something like that, right?
Oh, yeah. And now you got places that they'll, they even do you can go to the website and watch them on the cam and see what they're up to and that sort of thing.
That's a pretty genius idea.
Yeah. Our dogs just got back from one. They're indoor the whole time, AC, sleeping on these cots. Some of them leave the TV on for them.
Yeah. We've been into one that has couches and TVs.
Yeah, couches and TVs.
Yeah.
I think at ours, they were taking them out like 6 times a day for walks and socialization. Yeah. Truth be told, they don't get that on a normal day, so they're pretty excited about it.
Well, you think about it, and you think about like a newlywed couple or a young couple. That's your first kid. Our first kid was a Chihuahua named Jojo, and he was our baby. We had sweaters for him, and took care of him. He was our first little practice baby. So there's a lot of care that goes into these little animals. Well, that's just one population. I'm sure a lot of people love their animals. But,
right.
I'm just saying, like, to the degree that, people are attached to their pets, they're family,
Oh, yeah. I think, they're family. People, and people use the terms of, my baby, and people will come and tell me, hey, Sophie's mom called for you. It's not Sophie's owner called to check on her. Everybody. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me know. But that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so. That's great. So, you don't necessarily have to take them with you. You can take them to a place like a kennel that has a facility. But let's say that people that do take their pets on vacation and take them with them. What can you? Like, how do you pack for that?
I would say, try to keep things as close to the same as normal. As a routine as possible in terms of food and that sort of thing. Again, make sure the accommodations are going to be good. If there's things that you got to take, I guess it's kind of like a kid. If there's things that you got to take that the dog absolutely has to have that might make them a little more comfortable or something like that, that'd be fine. But just just packing, food or at least planning to buy it when you get there or something like that. Mm-hmm. Some people, I've heard of people even saying like, oh yeah, we take the dog with us and then put him in a kennel at the place once we get there.
Yeah, I've heard of people doing that.
And that sounds, to me, that sounds like a kind of the best of both worlds.
It's a pretty good idea. Then if you want to kind of hang out with them, you pull them out for a little bit.
Yeah.
Hey, do you remember, like, it was a few years back, there was a presidential hopeful, and he's taking a family vacation, and he had a crate strapped to the top of his car with the dog.
I don't remember that.
You don't? And it was controversial because, it was strapped to the top of the car, and so there's the dog inside the crate.
Yeah,
and so that's not a very smart thing to do.
No, that probably I would imagine you'd probably get pulled over if somebody saw you like that. Yeah, I mean, I think I remember something. I mean, kind of close to that. Dogs in the back of trucks. I mean, I even probably have friends.
Scares the tar out of me.
Yeah,
I mean,
that. I have friends surprised. Man, it's fine. I don't know. I wouldn't do it. I remember seeing something in vet school one time. They said some percentage of, like 40% of all the dogs that the dogs that you see on the road that have been hit or something like that, is from that reason. It's like, man, it's totally preventable.
Terrible. Yeah,
because they don't. I mean, they're so distracted by things and whatnot, and then I don't know. Some of them don't even know fear. It seems like
Yeah, no, I hear you. Let's go back to something real quick about something we talked about over the break, but I want to use my own animal. I have this little cat at home, and I noticed that it has like these little lumps like on its body. Is that something that we should kind of get checked out?
Yeah.
Like it's on its shoulder, and it's like a little growth or something, but it's under its fur.
It's under the skin.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I mean, depending on what it is, yes, I would say most lumps, I mean, unless it's just something you just know that, hey, this is...
this feels a little weird.
Yeah,
right?
I would always get it checked out. I'll be honest with you, particularly cats. Lumps in cats are not common. Lumps in dogs are extremely common, but you can have a wide variety of lumps, and a lot of it, right, depends on where the lump is too.
Yeah.
As to how something that may not be that bad can be made really bad just by being in a bad location.
Right.
So
yeah, that's true.
Get it checked out early. Get it checked out hopefully when it's small. Gives the vet better opportunity to try to do something about it.
Yeah, and that's like it takes just being a little bit more aware of like your animal, and just making sure you're on top of those symptoms.
Yeah, I mean just being into. I mean I was joking with this about a client yesterday. Like I have a bad habit. I can't not examine like a dog the first time. If I go to your house, your dog comes up to me, and I while I'm talking to you saying, hey man, how's it going, I'm probably doing an exam on your dog.
You're petting the dog, and then you go into your assessment.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll tell people like, hey, just once a month, just kind of run your hands over the dog and just feel for stuff, and this way you eventually you'll go, oh, okay, that wasn't there before.
Yeah.
Some people are hesitant to come into the vet because they're afraid it's going to be very expensive, or it's going to be very painful to do something, or what have you. And then they come in and they leave and they say, oh, okay, that's not that
wasn't bad.
Yeah. Maybe they don't have to do anything about it,
Yeah. Well, I think that, excuse me, pet care and just in general when you travel, and there's a lot of things that should be common sense. And when I say common sense, it's a live animal that we're dealing with, and there's some things that you would do and like some things that you wouldn't do with an animal, and even yourself. And so I like that how you've been kind of iterating this entire show, how if you don't like it and it wouldn't be good for you, it wouldn't be good for the animal. So to really kind of, help empathize and like, get an idea of how these animals are.
It's just the easiest way to go about it. I mean, just if it's hot for everybody.
Yeah.
One thing a lot of people say, oh, well, the guys with the real thick coats, it insulates them. It keeps them cooler. Mm-hmm. That doesn't work when it's 100 degrees outside,
Yeah.
It's just not going to work.
What about the opposite of that? Let's say that it is a thick-coated dog and it's freezing outside. I mean,
they'll be better off.
Yeah.
But cold is cold.
Right.
They do like it. A lot of dogs do like it at colder temperatures.
But iced over and frozen?
But yeah, I mean, that's not comfortable for anybody.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard to get footing and all that stuff. And so, and that's where it just comes in, just saying, you know what, just go as you would for yourself in that regard. And, just maybe just manage things a little bit differently and that sort of thing. Some people like to shave their pets. Some people don't.
Yeah.
I don't feel strongly one way or the other. I personally, we shave our dogs.
Yeah.
I do think that they are way more comfortable.
You think so?
After doing it.
And you can make him look like a lion. And,
yeah, you can do all kinds of stuff, mohawk if you want to.
We had a Chihuahua that we did that, and his whole body was shaved except his paws and his head, and he didn't look like anything, and just looked like a fur flower or something, because his head was so. I mean, all the fur around his face was pretty big.
Yeah.
Jacob, how can people get in touch with you?
So I'm at Parker Animal and Bird Clinic in Plano. We're on Parker Road, adjacent to Custer and Parker intersection.
Yeah.
Best way, phone number 972-985-0036. We do have a Facebook page. You can kind of put things on there, but by far the best thing is just call the clinic. We're really good about just talking to everybody, and if one of the veterinarians can't get on the phone, we've got like a team of technicians that's awesome, educated, and they'll guide you. And if you need to come in, they'll tell you that. So.
Yeah. So how long have you been at this place?
I'm finishing up 5 years at that practice next week.
Wow.
Yeah.
It'll be a 5-year anniversary.
Yeah, 5 years.
Wow.
So.
That's cool, man. Thank you. Congratulations on that.
That's cool. I mean, I've been out for 10 years, but 5 years to the practice.
Yeah. So. Thanks for coming on, because I think that's great that you can actually kind of, be here and explain to people like what you do, and like, you know your stuff. You've been here for 5 years. It's you're a young professional, and you ever make house calls?
No.
Give your cell phone out.
I could give it. Our practice is unique in the sense that you it's very easy to get a hold of the doctor should you need to.
That's cool, and that's what you want. I mean, you want to be able to kind of call and at least have some way of at least feeling like your concerns are addressed and like you have a resource for it. Jacob, thank you so much for coming on to the show. You can follow us on Twitter or Facebook if you go to the Therapy Hour at Rusty Lozano with Rusty Lozano, and go to my YouTube channel, Rusty Lozano. Type it in, and it'll pull up all of our shows. You guys keep those pets safe because they are family members, and have a great weekend.